Hi again, everybody. Chris Conklin here with the Chanute channel, and I thought I'd take an opportunity today to talk with one of the candidates that's going to be running for county commission. And it's important that everybody that is a registered voter in Chanute and the local area get out to vote on November 8th. Regardless of who you're voting for, it is important that everyone does get out to vote on this very important election. But today what we want to do is we want to concentrate on a local election and introduce you to a candidate that I feel is very strong and let you know exactly who she is, and that is Jennifer Orr.
Hi. I really appreciate you letting me come and talk with you today. I'm really excited about this election.
Well, I'm glad that you took time out to come in and talk with us, and I think it's kind of important that the public knows who Jennifer Orr is and a little bit about your background and why you decided to run. And what you're going to be able to do for Neosho County and the surrounding community. So if you don't mind, maybe a little background about who you are.
Sure, absolutely. Like you said, my name is Jennifer Orr, and I grew up in a little town called Galena, Kansas, right on historic Route 66. Went to school there, kindergarten through 12th grade. Yep, it was a great community to grow up in. Very small, less than 4,000 people, so everyone knew everyone. Mm-hmm. Raised my family there. Married my high school sweetheart, Bill. He was the maintenance supervisor for Galena Schools for around 21 years. I worked for the post office. Fresh out of high school, though, I went to work for Eagle Picture Industries, which a lot of people, I'm sure, have heard of that. They did a lot of aerospace things. And I became a NASA certified solderer. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. And I actually got to solder for the Hubble telescope. And I want to say that what we did worked. A lot of things about the Hubble telescope was kind of iffy, but they did get the bugs worked out of it. But I got the pleasure of making batteries for the Hubble telescope, which was pretty cool.
That's impressive.
It was very cool.
So did you get an opportunity to meet that Alex Wilder from Flashdance?
Oh, no, I wish I did, but no.
No,
no.
Not quite your cup there, huh?
No, but it was really great. And after that, I became a document control clerk there for Eagle Picture, and I did that until I went to work for the post office. And I worked at the post office until 2012. I was a rural mail carrier. Great job. Really a wonderful job. Met a lot of great people. Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, I was really heavy into the drama department. I was a cheerleader, and I loved volleyball. I was into anything and everything that I could.
You got to cheer on yourself.
Oh, yeah, go Dogs. Yeah. Yeah, so I did. I had a wonderful upbringing. Like I said, raised my kids there. My children's names are Spencer and Rachel. And Spencer is a Pitt State grad. He has his business, marketing, and accounting degrees. And my daughter, they were rivals. She went to Missouri Southern on a softball scholarship, so we were a house divided.
She's athletic, more like you then.
Oh, well, yeah, she loves, and she even wanted to play football when she was growing up.
Oh, wow.
And I had to put my foot down. She played baseball and everything else, but football, I had to say, no, you're not going to do that. But, she probably could have. She's determined. I lost my husband at the age of 46, and that was a real hard time. And, a few years there was pretty difficult for our family, but we came through, and we're shining. We're doing fine. And I met David Orr, and he's a Chanute native, and fell in love and married him, and that is how I ended up in Chanute, and I've been here a little over 3 years. And I have a real passion for the elderly, because I feel like in our society they're kind of left out anymore. Right. They are many of our retirees are on a fixed income, and I know that raising taxes is going to hurt these people drastically. Mm-hmm. We need to do everything in our power not to raise taxes for our elderly citizens. They shouldn't have to choose between having food in their pantry and being able to pay their utility bill.
Or medications.
Yes, exactly. And that is one thing I feel very passionate about. And what happened to me with the Joplin tornado taught me a deep lesson. It really did. And it made me stronger, it made me tougher, and it made me wiser.
But one of the interesting comments that you made a minute ago that kind of sparked my interest was they can't afford any more tax increases. And you said that you were going to stop those tax increases. Do you have an idea or a plan on how you're going to be able to maintain and operate without tax increases?
I actually do. It may not be the popular thing to say, but I'll be honest with you, I think we need to go back to a World War II mentality. We need to roll up our sleeves. We need to get to work. We need to use and reuse everything that we can to save money. And I do want to say at this point that I don't ever want our county employees to feel like they don't have the equipment that they need in order to perform their jobs. There's a lot of programs we could look into to see about maybe getting some kind of grants or something like that to give the road equipment that we need, because we want to keep our county employees safe too, not only doing their jobs, but we want to keep them safe. And I really think that if I had a platform, that is what it would be. I've been asked that several times, do you have a platform? And I really don't, except for I think we've lost some integrity in our nation as a whole.
Yes, very much so.
And I'm an independent, and I know a lot of people don't know that, but I like some things about both parties, and I dislike some things about both parties.
Sure.
And I
think most people are probably that way, but they declare one side or the other.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know I'm not alone in that. But I really believe that if we want to get our county back to where it needs to be, in order, I know that a lot of people say, well, we just need to change things. We just need to change it. But you have to have money to change things, unless you start at the bottom and go, okay, we've got this already. Let's make this work for us. Let's do what we can to make the things that we have, the equipment we have, work. Mm-hmm. And that's where I stand on that.
Make do with what you have.
Exactly.
And do the best you can with what you have to
exactly.
work with.
And I was lucky because I was raised by my grandmother, and she went through the Depression like so many of our older people did. And she taught us what it was like to save. And she had this saying, she said, sometimes we had to rob Peter to pay Paul. And we did. We had to, if my mother had more income at the time, then she would take over a little bit of the burden. If my grandmother happened to have, because both of them, like me, had lost their husbands very, very early in life, so we were a husbandless household. My grandfather died in World War II. My father died when I was 8 years old. So they all kind of banded together, and it was a group. They supported each other, and that is what my grandmother and my mother taught me. You reuse that wrapping paper. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You wash that foil and you use it again.
Yeah,
and
I remember my mom taking the bows and putting them in the box.
Absolutely.
And she even saved the cards themselves.
Yes, absolutely, because you could use that on something else.
Well, she would cut the cover off, and there was the back there.
And that's how I was
resourceful.
raised. Mm-hmm. And that's a great upbringing, because we kind of live in a throwaway society where you just go out and buy new, and we don't expect things to last, and we should be able to expect things to last.
Well, and I think a lot of the problem is a lot of people don't fully understand how to be completely resourceful. And, I think that's a powerful word in itself.
Yes.
Because you're utilizing the resources that are immediately available to you. It's not creating an additional burden on the taxpayers, but yet it still gets the projects done.
Exactly.
And prioritizing them. I mean, using you've got some project management background, so you understand how the pyramid scheme works.
Yes.
With your prioritizations. There can only be so many A priorities, then so many Bs, then so many Cs, and then everything falls into if we can get around to it. Rather than just throwing this here and this here and this here, based on a squeaky wheel or, that type of thing, but all along still planning for the future.
Exactly.
A contingency, emergency disasters.
And that's a biggie too.
What do you feel is the most important thing to you as a commissioner that the general population needs to have faith in you for?
It's a good question. There's so many things that I feel passionately about, not just in Neosho County, but for my nation as a whole. I really, like I said, we lack integrity. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to get back to the basics, what really matters, and that is not this attitude of self. And I think that's where we've got into trouble is we're only worried about me, myself, and I. And I would love to see our community as a whole, and that is one reason why I do love Chanute, not trying to change the subject, but I am so impressed with all the little things that your community does, like Artist Alley. You've got your Oktoberfest coming up, your Mexican Fiesta Days. I think it's amazing. I love it. I love going to those places, and I can feel that community spirit. It's there. Chanute has it. Neosho County has it. You've got that community spirit. You have a I care attitude, and I think that is why I was so drawn to this area when I first got here. I've even told my husband many times that, you know, it is so beautiful here. The people are wonderful, and he actually told me one time. He says, "I love seeing my home through your eyes because it's a new vision. It's you know, I'm new to here, so everything was brand new to me, and I really got really excited about being here. And I never thought I would run for public office. It's never been a desire of mine. You know, I was so tied up in my family and my job, I just didn't have time. But now I have a little bit of time, and I see a problem. I do see a problem, and it's like a train in the depot. If that train takes off, it's going to be hard to stop. So,
well, they experienced that in New Jersey recently.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, if we can stop that train before it starts, then we're going to be in better shape.
Or at least control it.
Control it.
And that's the main thing, is like control what's going on. You know, without bringing up, you know, a lot of mistakes or things that shouldn't have happened.
Yes, that's in
like,
the past.
You know, like the whole Ash Grove thing is it's done.
in the past.
It's in the past. We've learned a lot from things like that.
Yes.
But there's also a lot of new things that are coming up. We've got controversial issues coming up with factories and big businesses that want to come into Chanute.
The growth that is happening right now is amazing.
Into Neosho County, and how we're going to handle that. Is it just a city issue or a city responsibility, or should the county also help thrive on this economic drive that is coming to Neosho County in general?
Absolutely, because when Chanute thrives and prospers, the county thrives and prospers.
Right.
You know, we're all in this together. We're all in this together.
Whether we like it or not.
Whether we like it or not. But you know what? I see good things for Chanute, Neosho County, Erie. I see really, really positive good things happening. And with all the building that's going on, it really is exciting to me. I love seeing it. The new sports hibits that we got in, you know, it's just really, really a positive sign for our county.
It is. So let's get a little bit more serious now. And what are your thoughts on the existing County Commission?
First of all, I'd like to praise our existing County Commission. I think that they have done a marvelous job with the funds that they've had made available to them. We lost the Ash Grove tax base and now Post Rock, and that really, really has hurt. So they do. I take my hat off to them. I know their job has been very tough, and I do know that when I'm elected County Commissioner, I'm going to be right there in that seat with them. And sometimes they have had to make some unpopular decisions.
Right.
And I will have to make some unpopular decisions too. That is part of the job. It's not a glamorous job. It's about road and bridges. It's about spraying for noxious weeds. It's about payroll.
Cutting grass.
Cutting grass.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it's about. It's just it's a thankless job. It's a thankless job, and I just want everyone to know that I'm willing to take that on. I want to take it on. I feel very passionate about it. The more time that goes by, I get rolling with all these ideas that I have, and I want to share them with the commission once I get in there. And I'm just really excited for that opportunity, and I hope that the voters in my district see that I do have a passion for our community.
Absolutely.
And I do, I really do. And I'm you know, throwing a little personal note in there. When we did the parade on Artist Alley, I had a blast. I had a wonderful time getting to see the children and meet some of the people on the street. And also, when I had to get signatures in order to run, I stood on these people's front porches and talked to them, sometimes for 2 hours at a time, for one signature. And I got to know some of and it was good for me because I am relatively new here. And they gave me ideas of what were their concerns, what their dreams were. And you know what? You can be 85 years old and still have a dream.
That's absolutely correct.
It is, and I really, really enjoyed that, and I really, really enjoyed getting to know the people. And they did tell me some of the concerns they had about some of the decisions our county commission had made. But the past is the past. We need to focus on the future, keep our eyes on the prize, and go from there.
Have a vision. Now let me sidebar on that for just a minute, Jennifer. You mentioned that you were going door to door and talking with all the people, letting them know who you are. You got signatures, you got on the ballot, you did everything that you were supposed to do. And the way elections run, and this is more for our viewing audience more than anything else, is that you'll see other flyers that come on your doorstep from anybody and everybody. You'll get phone calls from anybody and everybody. The important thing to remember is when you talked to Jennifer, or when you do talk to Jennifer, she's widely available and open, that's what the truth is. So if you receive phone calls, I don't care who they're from, or mailers, or emails, or blasts on any social medias, make sure that you fully understand exactly what it is that is being communicated. And if it doesn't sound right to you, it probably isn't. And if you have any questions about that, or you get any strange phone calls or any mailings or like that, give Jennifer a call.
Give me a call. Give me a call.
And get on Facebook or go downtown. And there's plenty of ways that you can get in touch with her, or somebody can get a message to you to go on. Now, how well do you think that you can get along with the existing two commissioners?
Oh, I think that we'll get along great together. I've met both of them. They care about their community, first and foremost. And they're two very different personalities. And I am completely different than they are. So you're going to have three different opinions and three different ideas. But I think that we will all meld together and get along well together because they are open-minded. Both of those gentlemen are open-minded, and I am as well. And I will listen. And if I don't know the answer to something, I know how to get it. I know who to ask. And I will do the footwork, and I will read, and I will study until I do come up with the idea and the opinions that I think is the best for our community. And I think these two gentlemen are prime examples of that.
Well, and in particular, at least one of them very strongly is against the pull the trigger attitude. He likes to evaluate, think about, research, and then do what is best.
Absolutely, and kudos to him because that's exactly what we need. We don't need someone that's just going to fly off the handle or sadly, there are people that have ran for office or are running for office that they have a personal agenda, and that's not what this is about. This is about us coming together as a community, working well together, respecting other people's opinions. That's very, very important. And being a team, just being a team. And I think that the three of us, I think we can do that. I think we can do that very well together.
And maintain a very strong, transparent presence.
I respect them, and I think that is major when you're working with someone that closely and making decisions that affect so many people. And you do have to respect and be able to work with those people.
And you can do so in a capacity where you're not concerned with any conflict of interest.
Absolutely. I feel very blessed and lucky that I don't have anyone with a hidden agenda. I don't know anyone that works for the county. I am not related to anyone that works for the county. I'm a fresh face with fresh ideas, and that makes me very lucky. Really.
And we've already seen a history of how having family members, either close or distant, some kind of a relation within the county at any level
it can
has
cause some real
caused
problems.
nothing but problems over and over and over again. We've seen this. So yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that conflict or
like I said,
being
I'm
accountable
lucky.
to anybody like that.
Yes.
So that in itself is a good thing. Now, your opponent has announced she's for a lot of change. Can you talk a little bit about some change that you have in mind?
Okay, this may be the unpopular thing to say,
Well,
but I'm not all about change right now. I'm about using what we have, making what we have work, making the programs we have in place work, and focusing on building up our bank account basically. We need money in order to make changes, and we need to start with what we have, make it work, save money, and then and only then will I try to focus on some kind of change. Right now, we need to work together with what we have because our funds are low, and that's the truth. That is just the truth. You cannot spend money that you don't have.
Right.
So-
So now, in your own words, what makes you feel that you are the most qualified candidate for this position?
Well, you can tell how passionate I am
Yes,
about
I
this.
can.
I am very passionate about this. I'm excited about it. I feel like I got a new lease on life when I came here because of the death of my husband and
Right.
the things that had gone on. It was a new start for me, and I put, see how passionate I am? I put my whole self into this community and my new life. When I put my head into a ring, I give it my all. So,
Yeah, I can see that.
sorry.
No, that's perfectly. We need somebody in there that's got that kind of compassion and that kind of emotion, to look after others and make that type of difference. Your qualifications to be commissioner, I know that's a repetitive question that comes
Right.
over and over and over again, but that's probably one of the biggest questions that people are going to ask themselves or
Right.
ask others. As they're sitting around their morning coffees, around one of the local hangouts,
Right.
after they see this, after they see things in the paper, they see things from your opponent, conversations are going to come about.
Yes.
So, inputs on that.
Yes. I am not sure if I were looking out from a citizen of Neosho County, if I were looking at the two candidates, me and my opponent, I'm not sure that I would actually say either one of us are absolutely qualified to be a county commissioner because neither one of us has ever ran for office before or held an office. So, that might make people pause and go, well, I just don't know. Well, I'm going to tell you that a desire to do a good job, a desire to do the best thing that you can for our community, and the desire to, 4 years from now, I want people to look back and say, she did do her best. She did her absolute best, and yes, maybe I will have to make some unpopular decisions, and yes, I may not please everyone, you can't. But I feel like I'm the most qualified because I am a clean slate. I have a passion for our community, and I have a willingness to serve. And that's a biggie. You have to be willing to serve. And
That dedication and loyalty.
And that is just my personality.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. It gives me drive and energy to know that I am out there doing something for somebody else. And like I said, this is my new home, and I plan on staying here for the rest of my life. So.
And you want it to be
I
strong.
want to be the
you
best
want to
it
get
can
it back.
be.
As the major presidential campaigns go, we want to put America back into American hands. We want to make America great again.
And that starts right here.
We need to do it, yes. They're doing it from a top-down approach, but we have to do it from a bottom-up approach. We all know that the state of Kansas is in serious trouble.
Yes.
The
Our
nation
school
is
system.
everything is in trouble. And to get out of the whole political aspect and more into fix the problem economically, use some business sense.
Yes.
Quit trying to please the right people and ignore the wrong people and that sort of thing. And you touched on this at the very beginning of the talk about, at least a third of our population is on a strict
Absolutely.
fixed income. I mean, when it comes down to raising electric rates, well, you hear people or you hear the utility people say, well, it's only going to be $4 or $5 a month.
But that means
They
a lot.
don't have that extra $4 or $5 a month.
That's absolutely correct.
So I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit more on your ideas on how you're looking out for their interests, as well as some of the ideas that maybe you can help with that.
The elderly have earned their right to a retirement where they're not concerned about their utility bills or if they're going to be able to purchase groceries or be able to afford their medication. I feel like they have done their part. They have done the work, and it's time for us to pick up and take over where they left off. It's our responsibility as a nation to make sure that the people that worked so hard, raised their families, worked, and you know they do. They worked so hard to accumulate and plan for their future. It's troublesome to me to think that we may take some of that away from them. This is supposed to be the time where they can sit back and enjoy the fruits of their labor. It's time for us, the generation coming behind, to pick it up and to make sure that we provide for these people and that their life doesn't become a burden instead of a joy. And that's what I'd like to see for the citizens of Neosho County. I also feel that way about keeping our young people in our community too. So many of our young people go off to college and they don't come back. They take their talents and go elsewhere because they don't necessarily have jobs here that would be supportive of a family. So I think we need to keep that vision in mind too, not just one group of people. We need to be looking at our young people. We need to be looking at the young families trying to make a living here. Do they have the opportunities? Do they have the financial means to be able to support a family in our community? If our tax rates go so high, that can they afford a home? Would they be able to make a purchase of a home and stay here and raise their families? There's so many different things that we need to look at for so many, for every level of citizen in Neosho County.
So really what you're passionate about is making sure that specifically that our seniors are taken care of.
Yes.
And that they don't have to worry about, having to pay for other elements or other aspects, within the county that they can't afford.
Right.
Where they don't always have to be looking at the calendar, looking for the next food pantry or the next handout. They can rest assured that when their check comes in once a month, that they know exactly how much that is and exactly where it's going to go, and feel comfortable and not be worried and stressed about that. Now let's move back a little bit to a topic that we were discussing earlier that is kind of troubling me, and that has to do with your incumbent. Or not your incumbent, you're running, who you're opposing to. You've mentioned that you don't have a husband or a relative that works for the county, and you have no hidden agendas, and you don't have anybody accountable or who to work for. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on what you mean by that?
Sure, and it is a touchy subject. I feel like my opponent is at a big disadvantage because she is married to a Neosho County official, an elected official, and it puts her at a real disadvantage because her husband will be bringing many of these issues to the table, and she's going to have to ethically excuse herself from any vote that would be necessary because it would be such a conflict of interest for her to be voting on something that her husband has brought to the table. I find this to be a real issue for me. And I think that the voters of Neosho County are going to look at it the same way.
So really, you can go home at the end of the day and not feel guilty or concerned that you've upset your husband in one way or another.
Exactly.
And that you've done what is best for the community as a whole.
Exactly. Without having that burden to carry around with me, I will keep my private life where it needs to be, and I will focus when I'm in those commission meetings. That is my total focus. It is not about what's going to happen at home when I get home, or if that's going to just, I'm going to have a problem at home because I had a problem at a commissioner meeting. Those things need to be separate. That's just a fact. They have to be kept separate. And I can do that. And I really feel, as I said earlier, that my opponent is at a real disadvantage that way because she will not be able to do that. It's just not humanly possible.
Sounds like it could create more problems than it would do good.
In both areas, her personal life and her public life.
Right. Well, we've opened up a lot of questions. You've given a lot of great information. We had an opportunity to learn a lot more about you and who Jennifer is.
Well, I'm sure you can tell how passionate I am about what
I am. I'm excited,
Might start,
we're looking at, people might think, oh, this is a local, election, and it's not as important. We've got a fiasco of a presidential election that we're facing. A lot of people are saying, you know what, I'm not even going to get out and vote this, and that's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah,
Yes, you can. Go
Can I
ahead.
interrupt you right there? Don't do that. Don't let what's happening on the national level affect what happens here. It has to start at home. If we want to make a change, it has to start right here in Neosho County. And I want all of you to get out and vote. I want everyone, no matter who you're going to vote for or what your beliefs are. That is the most important thing, is you get up on that Tuesday, November 8th, and you get out and vote.
Even if you only vote for the local or the state.
Absolutely.
If you don't believe in the presidential campaigns, you don't like either one of them, then just don't cast a vote.
Yes, don't let what's happening on the national level take away your rights. And this is our right to get out there and cast our ballot to whoever we feel is the best for the job. And that's our right, and that's our privilege.
Are you available if anybody has any other questions?
Absolutely.
How can they get a hold of you, or where can they go to talk to you?
Well, I have, they could get a hold of me on Facebook.
Okay.
I have a Elect Jennifer Orr page.
So they can just type in Jennifer Orr and it comes right up?
Sure.
Okay.
And then I will my email address is on there, and you can get a hold of me that way. If you want to, you can even call me if you need to.
You want to give a phone number that they can call?
I will. I'm that brave.
If you want to give it, we'll post it.
All right. My phone number is 620, of course, 432-1815. And I am brave enough that I will welcome any phone calls. 432-1815.
1815. Okay, very good. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for coming in. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm all pumped up now. It's just like this is great.
So am I. I'm excited about the future of Neosho County.
I feel good. I was feeling down about things.
Well, it's all rainy and dreary outside.
Yeah, it is. But sometimes that's what it takes to get things going. Well, as Jennifer has mentioned, and I've mentioned several times, it's very important on November 8th that you get out and vote. You may not like a lot of the things that are going on. You may have turned the TV off, and you don't want to hear any more about it. And there's a lot of people that feel exactly like you. They're torn, they're angry, they're frustrated. There are a lot of theories out there. But as Jennifer put it so very well, is that we got to take care of our own community and not rely on the state or any of the federal or any other agencies to take care of us. It is our community, and we need to take care of it, starting with the bottom up. Get out and vote on November 8th, and then feel proud that you did. For the Chanute channel and Jennifer Orr, this is Chris Conklin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.